Welcome to my class. This is Dr. E. Lakshmarana, Assistant Professor of Public Administration, HOD of Public Administration in Giriraj College. We will discuss today about Mughal period. So yesterday we discussed about the evolution of Indian administration. We discussed regarding the Mauryan administration, Gupta administration. In continuation, that medieval period, we will discuss about the Mughal period or Mughal administration. So these are the kings regarding Mughal. So Babar, Humayun, Sher Shah Suri, Bairam Khan, Akbar, Jahangir, Nur Jahan, Shah Jahan, Mumtaz Mahal, Aurangzeb, Akbar Shah, Bahadur Shah Jafar. So these are the monuments which were memorable for our India. So Humayun tombs, Agra Fort, Taj Mahal, Red Fort Delhi, Fatehpur Sikri, Bipika Maqbara. These are the monuments by the great Mughals only. So the great Red Fort, which was located at New Delhi, every Independence Day and Republic Day, we are celebrating our national festivals, and we are hosting a flag or national flag at Red Fort only. The great Red Fort was built by the great Shah Jahan of Mughal. The great Taj Mahal also built by Shah Jahan only. If you see the Taj Mahal, it is a symbol for India. It will explain, it will give importance at world level for India. It is great reputation to India. So those who were visited our India, like presidents and prime ministers of different countries and key persons of different countries, they visit compulsory Taj Mahal, the great monument which is built by the great Mughals. So if you take the Mughals period, these are the Mughals period. So Babar is the founder of Mughal Empire. So 1526 to 1530, next to Humayun. If you take the Akbar, the great from Mughal Empire, so 1556 to 1605, he ruled our country. If you take the Jahangir and if you take Shah Jahan, who built Taj Mahal and the Red Fort, he ruled our India 1628 to 1658. The last powerful king of that Mughal Empire, Aurangzeb. So with him only the empire was became end. So with his works and with his rule. So if you take this, those are the pictures regarding Mughal administration. So if you take Mughal Empire, it was started in 1526 by Babar and almost ended with the death of Aurangzeb. So as we saw, the great Babar, Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb. So these are the eminent kings who ruled our India in medieval period. Another person, Sher Shah Shur, is an adventurous and intelligent Afghan. He ruled the country for about 15 years only. So after 15 years, he took reforms in administration level. So he defeated Humayun and he took the power. So he's a great personality in Mughal administrations. So after him, all the Mughals were followed his administrative reforms and followed by all the other administrators. If you take the nature of Mughal administration, the Mughal administration was a combination of India and extra Indian elements. The great Jadunath Sarkar stated it was the Perso-Arabic system in the Indian setting. So the British also initially retained the framework of Mughal administration and later made the necessary changes as the safety and prosperity of the country demanded from time to time. So if you take this type of Mughals and the Mauryan Guptas, so in the evolution of Indian administration, particularly we are in discussing Mughal period. So all the past rulers like Mauryan dynasty, maximum followed by the Gupta's dynasty and Gupta's dynasty, they followed followed by Mughals, and Mughals followed by Britishers, like Britishers followed by present rulers like that. So past rulers administrations all are most important for present administrators. So if you take what are the features of Mughal administrations, we will discuss in detail Mughal administration features. So if you take outline of the Mughal Empire or Mughal administration, is first is Wazir is the principal officer. So below him first is Emperor, and below him Wazir, Prime Minister, like that. Below him the entire country divided into Subhash and in the dependent chiefs. And next to Nazims and Divans, these are the finance officers, like Nazim means governor, and the deputies, like, so this is the at state level. If you take the district level, sarkars, some Fauzdar is the main officers. This is the completely outline about the our Mughal administration's features. If you take the military character, so the Mughal administration was completely depend upon military. So it is a military, they maintained a good military system for development of, for controlling and protecting the country from uh, foreigners. So the activities of the government were mainly confined to military and police functions. And other most important thing is collection of revenues. So these are the most important functions of the government: military and police and collection of revenue. These are the three important functions at Mughals period. So for undertaking welfare functions and economic development functions, so there is no evidence at Mughal period, but at artistic level, they developed Taj Mahal like that. So if you take the another feature of the Mughals is it is a centralized administration. So Raz, the king, is the important person who is autocratic and who is the powerful. He has all the powers like legislative, executive, and judiciary like that. So he is the person, he is the authoritative one man only. He is the he will rule the entire territory of that country. So these all the local officials at state level, and that is a Subhas level or Sarkar's level or Paragana level, all the officials will follow the king's rules and regulations only. If you take the another system that is called Mansabdari system, which is the important at Mughals level, they followed the Mansabdar system. So they allocate one area to one Mansab. So he will look after the land, he will collect the taxes, and they will maintain one military troop. So they will help the king regarding whenever the king needs the military support. So this is called Mansabdari system. He will look after the military, that area, and he will maintain the military. He will give the pay to them, and that Mansabdari also get the salary, and he will get the good status at the Mughals period. So if you take like that, they gave some grades for army, and according to their position, like Bakshi, like that. So that is about Mansabdar system, which is the new system introduced by the Mughals. So if you take the ministers, we already discussed it in outline of the Mughals administrations. So the Mughal emperor had no regular council of ministers, but like Mantri Parshad, like Mauryan Empire didn't follow, but sometimes they appointed ministers like this Wazir or Diwan, like Prime Minister, Chief Paymaster, Mir Bakshi. So this is sometimes the king conducted Praja Darbar at his Diwan-e-Am Hall for that is called as Jerokai Darsans. So all the people, those who are um, victimed or suffering from civil or criminal cases, they will visit the Jeroka Darshan and they will give the complaint to the king. The king will give the judgment and the king will give the support to them to solve the problems of poorest of the poor people. So this is about ministers. So if you take other ministers like Diwan, Mir Bakshi, if you take this one, so the chief finance and revenue department function under the chief Diwan and are like is generally treated as a Bazir, and all the Diwans are not Wazirs, but sometimes it may be treated as a Wazir. So orders of for payment and to be generally signed by the Diwan. So Diwan should sign the on payment. All questions connected with the collection of revenue were decided by Diwan only. So he reported the emperor about the state and about the treasury position. So Diwan only. So the military pay and accounts officers functions under the Mir Bakshi. So Mir Bakshi will look after about the military pay and accounts. So we already discussed about Mansabdar system. So all the Mansabdars in Mansabdar area, they will look after the military and they will give their salaries to their military people and they will support to uh, a king. If you take the police administrations regarding um, giving protection and giving prevention of detection of crime in rural areas, so the police administration is there. In land order, Mughals are very big, even though they gave importance to rural areas issues. So if you take the admin of the village, like President Sarpanch. So at the time, admin of the village and watchman were responsible for discharging police functions in the village. So if anything, the laws regarding at village level, so villagers are themselves responsible for recoup the laws. So another important cities or towns for police duties is Kotwal is there. He will look after regarding cities, all the things. So if you take the revenue administration at Mughal period, so revenue administration also plays a key role in their entire administration system. They implemented one new system, the great Akbar, great king of the Mughal dynasty. So he, with his help of his minister Todar Mal, so introduced reforms in the land revenue system. So he used the land to measurement of the land, and he classified the land, and he fixed the rates for as per land position, land cultivation. So as per the Akbar's Minister Todar land was classified into four categories. One is Polaj, second Parauti, third Chachar, fourth Banjar. So if you take Polaj, Polaj is the land which is cultivated every year. So it is so fertile. So they will collect the taxes every year also. Parauti, it is the land left out uncultivated for some time. So it is not so fertile and it is no sufficient water facility. That's why sometimes, some period, they didn't cultivate this land. So that is called paroti. So as per cultivated time only, they will collect the taxes. Next, chachar. So it is the land that had been left to follow for 3 or 4 years. So they will give the gap 3 4 years, and after 3 4 years, they cultivate that land, and at the cultivated time only they will collect the taxes regarding Chacha. So last and final land category is Banjar. So Banjar is nothing but wasteland, which is uncultivated land. Sometimes they didn't cultivate 5 years or more years. So this is the revenue administration. According to each class of land was further divided into three grades according to its fertility. The individual cultivator paid the land revenue. Roughly, the share of the state was one third of the average yield of the land and was much in excess than what prevailed during the times of Hindu kings. So, as per their system, these as per their category, they collected the revenue in their administration. If you take the provincial administration at Mughals period, for example, the king is the uh, topmost. He will look after the total empire. So the empire, the Mughals empire divided into 15 subas, nothing but today's states. Suba means nothing but today's state. So the for today's states, we have governor is the in charge for this subas at the time of Mughal period. Subedar is the in charge for subas, and now we may call the Subedar as a governor. So after Mughal period, after so this subas also extended, increased up to 21 also. That time they maintained, they divided 21 subas and they um, keep in charges for 21 subedars like that. So subedar, what is the subedar duty? He concentrated in his hands the civil and military powers of that state, that province. So subedar is the court, was the highest court of appeal in the Suba. Like High Court, that time subedar is the highest regarding judgment. So from 3 to 4 years, it was transferred to from one place to another place and one subas to another suba. So Subedar and Diwan had almost similar status in Suba. So Diwan and Subedar are more or less they are equal status. This led to conflicts and violation of the principle of unity of command. So Sadar, Ulema, Qazi, Fauzdar are also other employees. So provincial Baksi was in charge for military establishment. Kotwal was in charge for police in big towns. The central government maintained a regulating chain of communication between itself and provincial governments. So this is about the entire Subas at Mughals administration. So we will see what is land order at the, we will see what is local administration at Mughals period. So the entire state, the entire kingdom is divided into subas, and subas divided into sarkars, nothing but today's districts. Again, sarkars divided into paraganas. So the paraganas means nothing but today's mandals. Paraganas again divided into villages. So nothing but today's villages. So same subas and sarkars and paraganas and villages. Nowadays we are calling states, districts like mandals and villages. So district, nothing but sarkar is governed by Sikdar or a Fauzdar, like today's collector. Fauzdar is the that time is the in charge for that sarkar administration. Amala Guzar, head of the revenue administration. So like RDO, he will look after the revenue administration. Revenue collectors were under orders not to oppress the cultivators while they collecting the state demands. Other office, which record keeper of land revenue, cousin the treasury officer, Sarkar again divided into paraganas like tahsils. So today's tahsils. So tahsils are a batch of subordinate officers like Sikdar, Amil, Fotidar, and Kanungo. So each tahsils had about 12 villages. So villages were the lowest units of administration. Mughals gave legal sanction to the panchayats. So they gave legal sanction the time of their period. So at village level, Patwari, Chowkidar. These are the two persons at the time of Mughals period. What we call today's village revenue officer, village secretary. So all the names are different, but administration system is more or less equal. So we are following all the past administrators mm, system nowadays. So if you take the law and order at Mughals period, so the king and the prime minister both are responsible for maintaining law and order and peacefulness at their kingdom. So if you take provincial level, like Subedar and Fauzdar, below him Kotwal, and more or less they give importance to cities only in their administration. They neglected these villages like that. So this is about law and order position at Mughals period. If you take the judicial administration about Mughals, so emperor is the highest person regarding like Supreme Court Chief Justice. So like judicial authority completely in the hands of king only is the highest appeal authority. So if anyone have any query, so they may approach the king at the time like Akbar Cherokee Darshan. So you may ask, you may appeal to him regarding any civil, criminal, or any issue. So, for example, Sadar is the person will look after civil cases, especially religious character. Chief Qazi is the post, was the highest judicial officer at Mughals period. Main judicial functionaries is Mufti, expounded the law, and the Qazi investigated the evidence. Miradi delivered the judgment. So these are the like today we have courts like municipal court, or district courts, high court, supreme court. At the time also they are also they decentralized their judgment system, court system at Mughals period, and the king is the ultimate in regarding judicial power. So if you take about secularism at Mughals period, so they particularly the great Akbar is the great person. He maintained secularism among all the religions. He many employees, many positions, many key positions in administration was given to Hindus only, and he gave so many mansabs to Hindus. So Hindu customs were followed, and Hindu customs they give the protection to Hindu customs also. So Akbar is the great secularist among all the Mughals period. If you take the Aurangzeb is quite opposite to Hindus, but Akbar he loved all the religions, and he gave importance to all the religions in his kingdom. So if you take the Mughals administration, these are the key persons. Again, we already discussed it. We will see once only. Subedar already, Subhas chief person, or is the for Subhas chief person. So he will look after the state, that is Subha, regarding all the maintaining land order and collection of revenue and all the executing the royal decrees. So the great Subedar was appointed by only king only. So next, if you take second position in command in the provincial administration, Diwan, so he also appointed by the king only, so emperor only. So he acted directly under his orders, and he always corresponded with the king. So he was the twice every month he will report about imperial position, about the it kingdom, and he look after the financial matters, and is subordinate to the Subedar, and is maximum he participated, and he encouraged the other officers for revenue collections and settlements of land disputes is the main duties with the help of all the other employees. If you take the Fauzdar is the nothing but today's collector, the maintenance of peace and discharge of executive functions. So those are the main duties. So nothing but today's collectors also playing that land or maintaining and revenue collection also main important functions of today's collector. At the same time, at the Mughal period also, they discharged those duties only, and he acted as the Subedar's assistants. Now also all the IAS officers also they're must be responsible to the President of India. So as per this Fauzdar designation, and he plays a key role at Sarkar, and he suggests about the military and everything. If anything happened at some small rebellion, arrest, robber gangs, and crimes, regarding all these issues at Sarkar, Fauzdar will be look after these things. He will be responsible for that one. If you take the Mir Bakshi, is the also one of the another key post in provincial administration. He plays a key role in provincial administrations. He will report about his all the civil, criminal, and all the revenue issues like that. He will uh, give the report to mm, the king only. So he prepared salary bills like that, everything regarding that administration. So if you take the Paragana, so Kotwal and another person is there. So he also, Kotwal was the key person at a city. So he will give security to all the people, and he will look after the trades uh, at a local level. So if you take the Paragana or as like a mandal, so a group of neighboring villages is treated as a Paragana. So if you take Paragana is below the Sarkar. So there were three principal officers in the Paragana, like Sikdar, executive officer. Nowadays, in a previous at Telangana also, we have EO, executive officer is there. So that time they called Sikdar, like next to Amil, like a revenue officer. Like now we have MRI, Mandal Revenue Inspector is there. VRO, Village Revenue Officer is there. Like Kwanango. So these three persons will look after the Paragana regarding all the issues. So this was the Kotwal and Sikdar. So these are the key posts in our local administrations. So the great, if you take these things, the Amil and Kanango, these are the two posts, most important posts at Paragana level. So they discharge the functions pertaining to land survey. Today we are calling land survey officer and land revenue collections. So these two persons also uh, involved in the revenue administrations. If you take this entire Mughal administration or Mughal period, so we have king, and we have again we have provincial administration, and we have a district administration, nothing but that is Sarkar. If you take provincial administration, that is Subhas Subedar, Sarkar Fauzdar, like afterwards Mandal system like Paragana, and after that village. So these are the decentralized system at Mughals periods. So they give importance to only cities, not they give importance to urban areas only. They neglected um, villages only. So this is the about Mughal period or Mughal administrations about our Union administration part. So in this Union administrations, in the evolution of Indian administration, we discussed up to now ancient period, that is Mauryan and Gupta's period, and medieval period, the Great Mughal period. And next we will discuss in modern period the British period.